every stunt bike falls on a spectrum, and not the one your doctor told you about last time you were in. Stunt bikes fall, generally speaking, between lot and street. Here I've got my two similar but not identical 636s. They're both 19 to 23 new gen 636s. They both have the same motor, the same subframe. They both have the same handbrake bracket. Other parts, radiator, like stuff like that is similar. But that's about where the similarities end. There's like hundreds of different decisions that you make and different choices you can pick to take your stunt bike and kind of make it what it is and what you want it to be. And every bike is set up differently for every person generally. So I just kind of want to show you the differences between my two stunt bikes. Obviously this is my lot bike. I'm taking this to any kind of like a show or a competition or even just a lot day with my friends. And this is a street bike. I can ride it to work if I need to, or if I can just cruise around. If I'm going to Chicago, I'm taking this. If I'm going to Birmingham, I'm taking this. So, for starters, the most obvious thing is the frame. So I've got a stock frame on this. Not really gonna push it in the lot. Not gonna, if I wreck, I'm gonna be wrecking pretty fast anyways. So it's probably cooked regardless. And here I've got a steel frame. Can drop this 100 times in the lot and really not have any major issues. That's probably the largest difference in cost, but not the largest difference in how the bike handles. It's a little heavier with the steel tube frame. Noticeable, but I mean, if I were to put a steel frame on this, it's not like I couldn't ride it on the street, One of the bigger things that's different is the brake setup. So for this bike, I've got it's kind of hard to see because my exhaust is fucking falling apart and in the way. 3 monoblocks to a 310 rotor SS Moto bracket, 1 monoblock for the foot brake and 2 for the handbrake. It's a lot of brake, and to match that amount of braking, I've got a very large sprocket. It's a 66 tooth, and I'm down one in the front. So that will really help the bike be responsive and snappy, and in a short, in a small area for doing circles or straight lines in a tight spot. It's really helpful because you can kind of just tell the bike where to go, and it's gonna do exactly that. Once you get out of first or second gear, though, it's terrifying. I would not want to take this and take it on the streets. I would absolutely kill myself. On top of that, it probably tops out at like 45 miles an hour comfortably. Like after you get past 45, it's screaming. Like it'd probably do 90, but it'd blow up in the process. As far as major things, that's pretty much the biggest difference is the brakes, the sprocket size, frame. There's other little things like I run the same bars. I like my bike to feel similar. I don't want to hop on the two different bikes and it feel terribly different. So I've got the same sub cage, same subframe, same step plate, same seats, same bars. I try to keep it more or less the same angle on everything, but that's just me, This bike is my work in progress street bike. Runs a 55 tooth sprocket. Can still circle, can still street ride, can do a little bit of everything. It's got the same 310 rotor. That way I don't have to stock 2 different rotors. Can just keep the one, but instead of having 3 calipers, it's only got 2. And instead of the monoblock for the foot brake, it's got a P34. It's still pretty touchy. It's a lot of brake still, especially it's got a RCS 16 master, so it's still quite a bit of brake, but nowhere near as much as this other bike. I wouldn't hesitate to ride this in the lot. You absolutely can take a bike that's more set up for the street and ride it in the lot and have no issues. But once you get to a certain point and you're trying certain tricks, or you want to like go faster and just do more aggressive things, a bike like this is really almost necessary. It's, you know, with you can tell, like if I circle this, it's very slow. I keep my idle, like I just run the same idle for circles as I do for street. I keep like 2K idle. And on this, I'm running like 4K idle. The bike's trying to like jump out from under you at all times. You know, it's it's pretty crazy. I would say this is a very difficult bike to ride, but once you get used to it, it's a much easier bike because it does all the work for you. You really don't even give it gas. It's mostly just clutch and brake. Whereas this is just more of your standard issue stunt bike. If you go to a stunt ride, this is pretty close to what you're going to see 90% of the way, except they're all going to be FZs, but you know what I'm saying. The other main difference between these two bikes is the tire pressure. So I run the same tires. I run a GPR 300 in the back and a 2C2 in the front. The front tire pressures normally stay the same, somewhere between 28 and 32, depending on where I'm riding and, you know, what temperature and what kind of whatever, you know what I'm saying? But this is like 60 pounds, somewhere between 55 and 60. And this is probably at 28, you know, 28 to 30. There are absolutely people who run 45 or something crazy on the street, but that ain't me, you know. At 32, I'm still pretty sketched out trying to drag along scrapes and stuff. But that's another key factor. If you're in the lot primarily, you should really have your tire pressure above like 45, I would say. Any lower, and it's hard to do some of the other. It's just you can just tell when someone's running low pressure and they're doing circles, and when someone's running high pressure and they're really getting over on it and getting some speed. It's definitely noticeable. I think that would be the biggest difference that you can just spot right off the bat is like the idle and the tire pressure between the two clips. I'll put in 2 clips right now of me circling this bike with low pressure, you know, low gearing, squishier brakes, and no idle versus this with a ton of idle, a ton of gearing, a ton of brakes, and like 60 pounds in the back.